Hi everyone. Today the topic today is Salesforce admin training day 6. Today's our topic is we'll quickly go through the previous session overview, and then we will talk about the muting permission set, and then we'll talk about the roles and when do we use a roles and how to create a role and what is the difference between the profile versus role. And what are the properties are available on the role. And let's see one of the use case. And after the use case, we'll see the introduction about the OWD. Then we'll have a conclusion, quiz, homework, and today's interview question. What did we learn in last class?
Permission set properties of permission set, permission set group, profile and permission set. What is the difference between profile and permission set? Properties of permission set, rules.
Right, offline. We have seen permission set, creating a permission set, properties of permission sets, and then what is the permission set group. And we have seen few scenarios. Now in the permission set, when you go to the profile, when you go to the permission set, let's go to the setup. Here in the users, we have a permission set group. When you go to the permission set group, let's open the one permission set group. In the permission set group, we have a concept is called muting permission set. We have a concept called muting permission set group. Now, what is this exactly, muting permission set? Now let's see. But before that, by looking at the name, what you guys can understand muting permission set?
Someone resign the permission. Someone resign.
Right. So what is muting?
Temporarily stop
putting a hold.
permission.
Putting on a hold is called muting.
Hold the permission to be silent for a while. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So basically muting is nothing but hold for it or some time just mute it. Muting the channel. Mute the volume. Right? So when we click on a mute button on the volume, on the remote, what will happen for some time, TV gets muted. Similarly here also. So here also we have a muting. So muting is nothing but mute the permission set already given to the user. Mute the permission set that is already given to the users. That means you can find the muting, muting permission set in the permission set group that we have already seen. And by using the muting permission set, can revoke the permissions. That means I can take back the permissions. So let's assume that I have already given a permission to user. Once I have given a permission, if I wanted to take back the permission, some scenarios it is difficult. Some scenarios it is difficult to take out the permission. Or some scenarios it is because that the same permission set can be applied to the multiple groups. That the same permission set can be applied to the permission set group. Now, if one group does not want some option, it is very difficult to change it because that particular permission set is shared with different people. So in that case, I cannot update the permission set. I cannot update the permission set, or I cannot take out the some permissions from the permission set. But using the muting permission set, what we can do is we can take back the permissions which they do not want, or which we do not want to give the part of permissions to the specific group. Now let's take an example. The example here is, let's assume that there is two groups are there. Sales representative team and sales manager team. There are two groups are there in the company. Sales representative is different part of work, and sales manager is a different part of work. Now, within the company, there is an admin team. Now, what this admin team does is basically they have created a different permission set to the Salesforce representative team, Salesforce manager team, right? Sales manager team and sales representation team. So they have created two different permission set. So for the sales representative, it has the permission set 1, permission set 2, permission set 3. And sales manager has permission set 1, permission set 2, 3, and 4. If you observe this, first three permission sets are shared with the sales representative team and sales manager team. Now, once it is created, admin team has created two different groups. One is containing the group of 3 permission set. Another one is containing the group of 4 permission sets. Now they have assigned this to each one of them. Sales admin created the separate group and assigned to sales representative team. And at the same time, sales admin created another group of permission set, right, which is a permission set group, and assigned to the sales manager. Suddenly there is a scenario, it came. The scenario is, we need to remove the delete permission for the sales representative team. We have to delete the permission. We have to remove the delete permission for the sales representative team. That means some issues were happening by this first team. There are some issues are happening by this team. So what client has suggested is, can you take out the delete option for this team? But the thing here is, we have a permission set 1, 2, 3. These 3 are shared between the multiple groups, right? These are the same permission set which are applied to the multiple groups. Similarly, manager also has this kind of a permission set. Okay, the easiest way is, instead of creating the new permission set, easiest way is, what we can do is, whenever we got a requirement to do that, first cross verify is that permission set. Because in real time, when we have it, usually if the team has a 5 permission set or a 6 permission set, now which permission set it is giving the delete option, we don't know. Out of this 6 permission set, we don't know which permission set is giving the delete option. It is very difficult to identify which one has a delete option. That is the first reason. And the second reason is, we don't know this permission set is directly used to some other users, or maybe it is part of a group, or these permission sets are directly assigned to the users. So we don't know that how these permission sets are used, right? In that case, just for a safest purpose, what we can do is, we can create a muting permission set. We can create a muting permission set. So where we can create a muting permission set, which is available inside the permission set group, which is available inside the permission set group. So you need to go to the permission set group, create a muting permission set. Now let's go ahead and create it. Now here I have a option called muting permission set. Now let's click on this muting permission sets in the group. Now it is asking to create a muting permission set, right? Muting permission set label, muting permission set name. It is asking us to create a new permission set, which is a muting. So click on a save. It is directly, the name is automatically populated saying that admin team muted. So if I say here, click on a save, this permission set has a additional permission which is called as a mute. This permission set has a additional feature called as a mute. Now let's wait on this. Now let me go back to the permission set. Now here muting permission set. We have already created this. Okay. So admin team muted. So this is the muting permission set overview. In the muting permission set, if you open the object settings, right? For example, I wanted to do some kind of a setting of the account. The delete permission has to be removed. See here, one additional option we will see, which is called as a muted. One option we will see, additional option is muted. That means already other permission sets already have a delete option. Now I wanted to remove the delete option. That means this particular delete option should be muted for the account. This particular delete option should be muted for this person. Now let's click on edit. Now let's say here, delete muted. Delete muted. Now click on save. Similarly, app level also we have it. So this is the object setting and we have a app permissions. App permissions. In the app permission, now let's go to the assigned apps. Now click on edit. Now, when you click on edit, it says that these all applications are enabled by this permission set. Do you want to mute anything? Yes. So let's assume that I wanted to mute marketing application, right? And I'll say that I wanted to mute the service. No, service is not enabled. What all the user can see? Let's do one thing. Let's go to the user. So this is the user. So is this permission set is already group is not assigned, but let me check. Let me assign the permission set for this user. So permission set group, edit the permission set group. Now admin team, click on assign and then click on save. Now I have assigned the permission set group to this Messi just to check what are the application the person is able to log in. Now let me log in as that user. gmail.com.dev123 and then we have a password. His username is correct. Okay. Now, as a Messi, I'm logging in as a, right now I'm logging as a Messi user, and let's go ahead and click on the view all. Right now, this person is able to see sales charter, content, community, digital experience, right? So let me do one thing. So let me mute the digital experience. I'm muting the digital experience marketing. These two I'm doing it. Click on it, save. Now let's click on your selection is saved. That means right now, whatever we have muted, it is done. Now let's go back to the permission set. That means whenever right now the user is logging in, those applications are muted. Those applications are muted. Let's cross verify again. Admin team, muting permission set. And here we have a muting permission set group, which is called as a admin team. And here I'm opening up the assigning apps. Okay, so we have muted the digital and marketing. Now let's go ahead and refresh this person. Sometimes it is taking the time, sometimes it takes the time. Usually it will not be reflected immediately. Now click on view all. Now I cannot see marketing. Marketing I can see, but digital experience I cannot see. Digital experience that I cannot see here, right? So marketing also will go away. It takes some time. So digital experience you cannot see here. Digital experience you cannot see. Before it was displaying the digital experience. Now if I uncheck that, if I uncheck, let's say click on edit. Now click on this, uncheck and click on save. Now let me go back to the user. Let me refresh this. This time the person is able to see the digital experience application. Now here he is able to see the digital experience, right? So similarly, account level, right? Any questions? Any questions, Arvind?
Ma'am, can you once again explain how to disable the delete option?
No. Okay. So now we have muted the account delete option, right? So when we delete that option, now I cannot see any delete button here. On the account level, I cannot see the delete button, which is not available. It is not available, the delete option. For the delete one, what you need to do is you need to go to the object setting. In the object setting, open the respective object. Any object could be any object. I have muted the delete as well as modify all. Modify all is nothing but which will also remove the edit access. Which will
Ma'am, so it will be applicable to all permission sets in that group?
It doesn't apply to the permission set, all the permission sets. It is applying on the group. It does not apply on the permission sets. Now that's what I'm saying here. Permission set is, here permission set 1 is assigned to the sales representative. Permission set 2 is, again 1 is assigned to the sales manager. Now if I create a muting permission set, you are thinking that this muting permission set is going to apply on permission set 1. That means if it is going to apply on permission set 1, then the sales manager is also going to be impacted. right? We do not want to impact the sales manager. Only the impact should be happen on the sales representative. And there is a possibility that this permission set 1 is assigned to the user 1 and user 2. Now, these 2 users also should not be reflected. Now, this muting permission set is only to this group level. Only to the group level, whoever is having this group, they will have for some time, we are muting the permission of that particular object or that particular application. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move on. Any questions offline?
Madam, it was applicable on for only permission set group or only single permission set?
It's on the group level. It's on the group level. We are not changing anything to the permission set. It is group level. When we have a group, in that group, if you, for some time, if I wanted to mute, if I wanted to disable some options, if I wanted to disable, for example, client is doing a production update or they are installing some app exchange during that time, what they will say that, can you roll back these changes? That means roll back this permission set or deactivate this permission set. How we are going to deactivate it? We cannot deactivate the permission set. Instead of that, what we can tell them that, okay, for some time, I'm going to mute this permission set so that it will not be affected when you are doing the production updates or when you are installing the package, it will not be impacted. So once you are done, we are going to modify the details. So that's how we are going to mute the permission set for some time. And later, if you want to delete it, now go to that particular permission set, go to the admin. And here you will see muted permission set and you can delete it. Simply, you can delete it. So here you have a later, if you do not want this admin team muted, you can delete it. If you delete it, all the access will be back.
Ma'am, if we want to mute for only one user in sales team,
how we can create a one user in sales stream? If we, first of all, we have created a concept itself. Here is, I'm saying the entire team has a group. Now, if you are saying that individual user has a permission set group, now why do we assign an individual like a user level if you are assigning the permission set group, right? So this same permission set group is assigned to multiple user, okay? And you are saying that in this sales team also, within this, only one user should be, it is muted. Then better take out the permission set group.
so we can remove him from the permission set group. Is that particular user?
Yes.
Okay.
Example, ma'am, we can assign a permission set group to some particular team, some particular person.
Yes.
In that particular person, we need to remove only one permission set. Is it possible?
That's what I'm saying. If you want to remove the permission set, they will not say that this permission set, remove it. Client doesn't say that remove this permission set. Client will say that remove the delete access on the account or remove the opportunity or remove the product, remove this particular object. But do you know that which permission set? Is it easy for you creating the muting permission set, or is it easy for you to analyze each permission set and understand what each permission set is doing it and who all the users are using the permission set? If I do, what are the changes on this permission set? Who all are going to impact it? It is a long process to do that. At least 2 to 3 days it is going to take you for that. Instead of that, what I'm saying that we don't know where the permission is there. I don't know, opportunity product level, I wanted to remove the delete permission. Whether it is happening in the permission set 1 or a 2 or 3, we don't know. And also I need to check if I modify something in the permission set 1, who all are the users are impacted. I don't know. If I change something on the permission set 2, who all are the users are impacted, I don't know. Now, when we are not clear on that, And if you do not want to spend more time on analyzing the each permission set, the easiest way is, which is introduced very lately. This muting permission set was not there initially. It was introduced very late. So they have come up with based on the client input, they have come up with the recently saying that we wanted this kind of a mute permission set because there are some scenarios. One of the scenario is this one.
That means as per the scenario, representatives was able to do the billing in individual area. Managers can see entire area.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So
can you show me one more time muting permission set group?
okay, so for muting permission set, you need to go to the permission set group. Whatever the permission set you have created, open that permission set group. If you know that there is a specific permission set group which we need to make a changes, and here within the permission set group, we have a option called muting permission set group. Now go to this muting permission set group. When you click on that, there is a new button which is available. Click on this new button. When you click on a new button, the label name, the API name is automatically displayed. The label name and the API name is automatically displayed. Click on a save button. Now, once it is saved, now here like this, you will be able to see. Now click on that muting permission set label. Click on the muting permission set. Now here, muting permission set, the initial layout is whenever you land onto the muting permission set, the layout is which is similar to the permission set. Whatever you can see here, like a assigned apps, assigned connected apps, object setting, whatever the options we have, everything is similar to the permission set. But when you click on this, when you click on whether it is an object or assigned apps, whatever the link if you click on it, you will see additional permission which is available, which is called as a muted, That means this is not available anywhere, not even profile, not even permission set. When you go to the muting permission set, then only you will see the option called muted. Now, if you enable this, that means I'm muting the particular application. That means for some time, I'm keeping that particular application on hold.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, can we assign multiple permission set group to an user?
Yes, you can assign it.
So is there any possibility of overriding if there is a same permission set in repeating groups?
Yes. That's the reason we have to, developer has to be very careful when we are assigning the permission set groups. If you are assigning them more permission set groups, that means you are making the complicated. When there is an issue, you will be the very complicated situation, because usually developer does not assign the multiple permission set groups, because later when the issues are raised, it was very difficult to handle where it is exactly happening. So that's the reason. But if you know that each permission set group, what is the permission that are exist inside that? Do I have a same permission set in the first group and second group? If it is a same permission set, why are you creating it? It is not needed, right? It is not required anything. It is not required. So whenever we are creating, first of all, whenever we are creating the permission set groups, we have to be very thorough. Analysis is done by we cannot create simply the multiple permission set groups. There is a reason why I'm creating a group. There is always a reason. If you do not see the reason for creating a group, we will not create it in the real time. So far on the muting permission set, there is no kind of a limit. I don't see the limit, which is the limit is applied similar to the permission set. So there is no specific things on the muting permission set because every group might have at least one, not more than that. Now let's move on. Permission set, there is a permission set limitations. Like permission set limitations are 1,000 we can create it. Can be created. Maximum number of permission sets can be created 1,000. So assume that if the permission set maximum is 1,000, then permission set groups also apply the same thing. Now let's move on. Is that clear, Ram? Okay, so let's move on. Roles. Next topic is a roles. Now, roles are, yesterday we have seen a definition of the role. Now we know that role is nothing but Salesforce roles are record level access. Salesforce roles are record level access that controls that defines what the data or what is the user can see the data in Salesforce. What is the user can see the data in Salesforce. So roles are always at the record level. Basically, roles are designed to increase the data visibility. Roles are introduced in the Salesforce to increase the data visibility of the record. That means if the user want to see another person record, if you want to expand the visibility of the specific record, now that's how the role came into the picture here. So by using the role, I can increase the data visibility through the role. That means we have a role hierarchy. Now, Salesforce has a role hierarchy, certain role hierarchy is available. Now, using the role hierarchy, we can increase the data visibility based on their level where they are standing on in the role, and based on the wherever in the hierarchy level, based on that it will be shared the record. The record gets shared. That means data visibility is increased based on the position that they are in the hierarchy level. Now let's see one example. One example is, let's assume that we have a recruiter. In the companies, we have a recruiter, like a HR recruiter. Recruiters also, there are different type of recruiters are there. The person just collecting the resume. There is a team that just collect the resumes. They will not do any kind of a HR round. Their work is just collecting the resumes or identifying the good resume or bringing the good resumes from the LinkedIn. Their work is just to get the resumes within the company, right? So there is some team, recruiter team, who are working on the getting the resume. Now this recruiter team reports to a recruiting manager. There is a manager for that team, and this recruiter team is going to report to manager, recruiting manager. So manager work is just cross-verifying everybody's data, and then whether it is a perfect resume or not for this position, right? So those are kind of a filtering, he will do it. Once his recruiter manager is done, that means whatever he is done. Now the next thing is that recruiter manager is reports to human resource head. Human resource head. Now if there are any issues with the related to the HR or any activities with the which are related to the HR, he will be reporting to the human resource head. Human resource head. Human resource head, that means HR head. So HR head will be reporting to the vice president. In the company, we have a vice president, and vice president will be report to the CTO, and CTO will be report to the CEO. So this is a structure of one path. This is the structure of one path. Similarly, if you see into the technical wise, technical side, we have a developers, right? Technical architect, senior architect. We have a different people are in the same level. Now they all report to the manager. They all report to the manager. And manager is report to the senior manager. Senior manager is report to the VP. Right? So that means from the low level, how the structure is, how the connection is there, because everybody has to talk to each other. Everybody has to talk to each other. Now, if something is happening by the CEO, now CEO has taken a decision. CEO has taken a decision. It has to flow through the CTO, it has to flow through the VP, it has to flow through the senior manager and HR head, it has to flow through the managers, and it has to flow through the solution architect, technical architect, developers, and a recruiter. This is how the structure will be there. In Salesforce also, we have this kind of a structures. Now CEO, here CTO is reporting to CEO. Now there are few other members at the CTO level, like a finance officer, right? Operating officer. So we have a different officers are there. Now they also report to the CEO. That means CEO is, there is a CFO, CTO, COO is report to CEO, right? That means technical wise, it is divided. Finance wise is also divided. Admin wise also divided. Operation wise also it is divided. So CEO has a multiple layers where his works will be divided. That means multiple people are reporting to CEO. This is just an example of how the role hierarchy in the Salesforce or in the company, which are the company you go for it, right? Everywhere we have a certain role hierarchy. Now, based on this role hierarchy, the access will be given to the person. That means here, recruiter is reporting to the manager. That means in the recruiter, whatever is happening, only the manager can see. Only the manager can see, or for example, let's take a developer. Now, developer, whatever he is working on it, or whatever the technical architect is working on it, especially for the operational form. Especially operational form, when they are working on it, developer cannot see the technical architect. Technical architect cannot see the developer's work. But manager can see what each member is submitting it, what each member is writing in the template and submitting it. So manager can see the everybody's data. Manager can see the everybody's data. Similarly, VP is there. VP can see the data of senior manager, data of manager, data of developer, data of technical architect, data of solution architect. Right? So VP have access to this side, and VP also has access to the human resource, recruiting manager, recruiter. So he can have access to these two people. So this person able to see this data, right? But here COO cannot see this one VP structure, because VP does not report to COO. VP reports to CTO. Only CTO can see what is happening at the VP level. COO cannot see what is happening at the VP level. CFO cannot see what is happening at the VP level. Only CTO can see it. Only CTO can see the data. So whoever is the reporting person is there, whoever is reporting, that means whoever is the support, the members who are reporting to the manager, only that manager can see the data of reporting person. The other manager cannot see the other manager's reporting data. This is the overall concept of role. Even in Salesforce also, we have a same terminology. But when do we go for a roles? What is the necessary that I need to? Because few projects does not have a roles. When I say does not have a roles, if it is a small project, very small project can be completed within 3 months, right? It does not require a roles. Whereas projects which require like 5 months, or it is a very big project, or if I have a multiple audience, when I say multiple audience, when I have a multiple users and different level of access, when I know that kind of a hierarchy in the project, then we will implement the roles. So especially the roles are used whenever we wanted to escalate, whenever we want to escalate. Now that means, now if this person has collected the resume, this person has collected the resume. Now this person has to give a feedback to the candidate, whether this resume is qualified or not, whether this resume is qualified or not. Now he called recruiter saying that, did you send a resume to the company? That means is the company reviewed the resume? Now in case if the candidate does not get the response, in case the candidate does not get the response, it will be escalated to the recruiting manager. In case the recruiting manager also not able to respond it, then in that case, the human resource head, the HR head, it gets escalated. So for the escalation purpose, we use it. For the escalation purpose, we use a role. That means if I'm not getting a response from the particular person or a particular team, now whom should I need to reach out? Whom should I need to reach out? So we should know who is the reporting manager. Who is the reporting manager? So based on the reporting manager, now we will connect to that person. So even in the real time also, whenever you go for a shop, right? Whenever you go for a shopping or a restaurant, if the person is not performing well, right? Let's take an example of restaurant. Whoever is serving it, they are not serving the properly. Now immediately what we will ask, now I wanted to talk to your manager, and I don't want to talk to you because I have already discussed with you, you are not fulfilling my requirements. Now I wanted to talk to your manager, call your manager. So these kind of things we will see in the real times also. That means every business, whether it is a small business or a big or MNC business, whatever the business it is, everywhere we have a manager and whoever is the members that are reporting to the manager. So especially the roles are used to, whenever you wanted to escalate those scenarios, we use a role. And the second one is a sharing. Second one is sharing. Sharing is, right now we have a 3 members are there. Developers are there, technical architect is there, senior technical architect is there. Now there are 3 members. This is a senior technical architect, and this is a technical architect, and this is a developer. Now these 3 members are reporting to one person. These 3 members are reporting to one person who is a manager. Now let's assume that one of the person is going for a vacation. Let's assume senior technical architect is going for a vacation. Now, when this person is going for a vacation, now assume that this person is handling very important task that needs to be completed in 2 days. Now, he has booked his vacation 3 months back. He booked the vacation 3 months back. Now, suddenly this important task, whatever the important task is there, he has to complete that important task, but he could not able to complete it. So what he can do, he can share the data to the technical architect. Now, how can he share it? Because we are looking at the easy in my same level, or if he is able to understand, because assume that there is a few more members who are reporting to him, right? If I give a very low level person this kind of a task, whatever the senior technical architect has to do it, can developer do it? Might not be, might be or might not be. Few developers might not do, few developers might do. Now in that case, we cannot keep a trust on the everybody, but whomever he is working on it, now in a daily, the person that he is working on it, okay, so in that case, he can share comfortably with another person. comfortably with another person at the same level, so that he can, because they both are working together since long. Now he can share the data and he can go for a vacation. So those kind of a scenarios, we will use it in the real time. Now in the real time where I use it, for example, in the real time, we have a sales team. In the sales team, there are 3 members are there, right? In sales team, we have a 3 members. This is the sales team 1, and means 1 user is the sales user 1, and sales user 2, sales user 3. Now this is the users are there. Now this sales user 1 or a sales user 2, okay? Sales user 2 is dealing a very important client. It is a VIP client. It is a VIP client. They are dealing with VIP client. Now suddenly this person, the sales user, has some important work. Some emergency work, he got it. Now he will not be available in next 4 hours. Now he got some emergency work, he has to go home. Now, but the VIP client is sitting there. VIP client is sitting there whom like the user 2 is, the sales user 2 is dealing with the VIP client. Now he cannot avoid the emergency task. Now what he can do is, the sales user will call the either user 1 or a user 3. Let's assume that the sales user is connecting to the sales user 3. Now sales user 3, he will explain everything, whatever he has discussed so far with the VIP, all the information he will share it. That means the record is shared to the user 3. Whatever the record is there, we will be creating a record. Right now, VIP client he is handling, that means there is a record that gets created to the lead. In order to convert that to the opportunity, we might have to do some other task, right? Or maybe they are in the opportunity level. VIP is at the opportunity level. It's supposed to go in the closed own. It's supposed to go in the, that means they're supposed to buy a vehicle. No, but we need to handle it very clearly, because at any point it might go in the loss status. So he will give all this records data to the, all this. So he can, now user 2 will be sharing the entire data to the user 3. That means whatever the records that he is handling it, what is the data that he is handling the Salesforce user, he will be sharing the user 3. That means the opportunity, lead, what are the account, contact, what are the data is there, all the data he will be sharing to the user 3. Now the user 3 will connect to the VIP client and he will be dealing with the VIP client. Now, whatever happens with the opportunity, whether it is a closed own or a closed lost, once this user 2 is back, he has to share that data back to this user. That means he can say that, now you can take back your data because I'm done with my work. Now, before he has shared it, before he has shared to this data. Now, that means once the user 2 is back, now user 3, what he will be doing it whenever he is dealing with the client, he will be updating the opportunity. He will be making some changes on the opportunity. Some fields gets updated, right? Or some data gets updated, maybe in the opportunity product, or some data gets updated. Whatever the data is updated related to this VIP client, he should inform the user to, I have updated the opportunity. It went into the closed own. Also, I have updated the products. He was also interested in another product, right? So these are the products which we sold. So he has to give all the information to the user too. Now that is the sharing where it is required. Sharing, during the sharing, we need to see the role. That is one scenario. And the third one, which we have a assigning. The third one, which we have a assigning. Assigning is same scenario. Now let's suppose that this user will not be back for next 3 months. He went for an emergency leave, but all of a sudden there is some really emergency. He cannot come back in 3 months. he has to go for a maybe emergency medical leave for 3 months and he cannot come back. So in that case, what will happen is sharing does not help. Sharing does not help. We have to assign it. We have to assign the records to the Salesforce user 3. Because when you share it, the person will have access to the read and edit. Read and edit. When you assign it, full access the user will get it. Full access user will get it. So we know that you will not, the user 2 will not be back for maybe 3 months or more than 3 months. In that case, what we will do is we will assign a user 3, whatever the records are there, we will change the assignment. So from the user 2 to we will assign to user 3. Now he is the full responsible. He is the user 3 is a full responsible. Now user 2, when you do the sharing, he was not that responsible. He was just taking care of on behalf of user 2. On behalf of user 2, he was taking care of the work. But when you assign it, it is that means user 3 should have a complete ownership of that particular record. So that is the assignment. Now these are the different scenarios where we use the role in the real time. In the real time, these are the places where we use the role. Now, if I wanted to create a role, how can I create it? If I want to create a role, I'll go to the setup, users, and there is an option called roles. In the roles, you need to click on a add roles. Now, in the roles, you will see there are different types. Now, let's go to the Salesforce. Now, here administrator, user, here option is called roles. So, click on here, roles. So, when you click on your roles, by default, you will see this screen. By default, you will see this screen. So here it is written, set up your role hierarchy to control how your organization reports on and access the data. That means how you are going to access the data based on your role hierarchy. Now there are 3 types of roles. 3 types of roles. One is territory-based sample. Second one is product-based sample. Third one is company size-based sample. Company size-based sample. And there are 3 types of roles. One is a temporary-based roles. Second one is a product-based roles. Third one is a company size-based roles. Now here, territory-based role, nothing but role based on the location. Territory is a new word. You are hearing it for the first time, but you will be hearing in the Salesforce in few companies. Territory is nothing but a location. Territory is nothing but a location. So that means I am creating a role based on a location. I am creating a role based on the location or area or a country or a geo location. So for example, if I have a company in Vijayawada, right? And if I have a company in Hyderabad, I have a company in US, I have a company in UK, right? I have a different places. In Singapore also I have a company, and in Dubai also I have a company. When I have a different companies here in the different places, that means in Dubai, I'll create a different role. In Singapore, I'll have a different role structure, right? In this here, in the US, UK, I have a different one. In Vijayawada, I'll create a different role structure because everywhere I need a manager. Everywhere I need a manager. Now, finally, all the managers has to report to whatever the VP or whoever is there, they has to report to everybody. That means every location I need a manager. Every location I need a manager. Now, territory-based role is nothing but if you want to create a role based on the location or based on the area or based on the country, then you can go for a territory-based role. So when you go for a territory-based role, so what you will see is executive staff, where you have a CEO, president, or a CFO, VP, those all at the high level. So assume that VP is here. VP is here. So VP is below that we have a Western Sales Director, Eastern Sales Director, International Sales Director, different locations, Western, Eastern, International. It is based on the location, right? And again, Western sales is having the Western sales representative. Again, Eastern sales representative is reporting to the Eastern sales director. International sales representative is reporting to the international sales director. So it is based on the location. I will be having a separate flow. Based on the location, it has a separate flow. Now the second one is product based role. That means role based on a line of a business. Role based on line of a business. That means if you select here product based sample, that means executive stuff. The on top level, it will not be changed. On the top level, it will not be changed. Now here, if you look at this path is we have a hardware sales representative. This hardware sales representative is reporting to the VP hardware. This is a separate line. Similarly, I have a software sales representative. Software sales representative is reporting to the VP software. Now this is a separate line. And similarly, I have a networking sales representative. Networking sales representative is reporting to the VP networking. This is a separate line. Product based is nothing but based on the product, you will have a separate line of a reporting structure. It is based on the product. And the third one is a company size based. Now, company size based is nothing but role based on the customer division. Now let me go there. Now let's select here company size based sample. Now on top it will be the VP. Now here you will have a different companies here. Fortune 1000 representative is reporting to the Fortune directors. Now here we have a mid-market representative is reporting to the mid-market director. And the next one is SAHO representative. So SAHO will be representative will be reporting to the SOHO sales director. So it is based on the company wise. For example, if you have a different companies, so you will have a different lineup or different roles or a different line of structure will be there for the each company based on the company. This is Venkatesh. Where are you asking this question? In the permission set or permission set group? In roles, we do not have a read access. Right. Okay. So you mean to see whenever we are sharing it. Okay. So read write. You can give the read access or a read write. Both you can do it. We will see how to do that. Okay. Whenever you are sharing a record, we can choose only the read access, or else we can give read write also. Both the ways I can give. So it has a both read and read write. Now let's go ahead and create one use case. Now, before doing the use case, now on the overall functionality wise, we got a clarity role. Now role and profile. Now, so far we have discussed the profile. Right now we are discussing the role. Now let's compare between these two. We know that profile is nothing but which determines what user can do. That means create, read, edit, delete. Role is record visibility, whether the user can view the data or not, whether the user can view the data or not. Profile is a user must have a profile assigned, whereas role is not mandatory, it is optional. On the user level, whenever you are creating a user, it will show as mandatory, but it is not mandatory actually. It is not mandatory. Now, grouping a users with a similar functionality. In profile, what we are doing is we are grouping the users with similar functionality, whereas role is hierarchy level. Hierarchy that splits the user with more authority from those with the license. That means hierarchy level, we are splitting the users, whether it needs to have a more access or whether it needs to have a less access. Now, profile is controls the access to the object field, right? Page layout, record types, apps, tabs. Whereas role is control the access to the record and folders. It does not control the object. It does not control the field level. It does not control the page layout. It only controls the record level and a folder level. Is everybody noted down? Same person reporting to the two directors. Ideally, it is not the right way. It might be there in the companies. If your user is reporting to the two managers, you are overloaded. Assume that your work is a HR work. Your work is a HR work where you need to collect the data. But you are reporting to the HR manager as well as the development manager. That means you are overloaded, which we should not be doing in the real time. Never a person should be reported to the two managers or two directors, which is not right. It has to be a single. If it is reporting to the two managers, first of all, that user is confused itself what to do. Is everybody noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's move on. Role properties. Now, one user is assigned to one role. One user is assigned to one role. Whenever as a one role is assigned to multiple, that means a user can be assigned to one role. I have a user. User should be assigned to only single role. Only single role. Whereas role is assigned to multiple users. Role can be assigned to multiple users. User 1, user 2, user 3. But from the user perspective, when you go to the user, only one role can be assigned. When you go to the role, multiple users can be assigned. One role can report to one higher manager role. No, this is exactly your question, Venkatesh. So one role can report to one higher manager role. That is one of the property. And parent role cannot be deleted directly if there are a child roles. Parent role cannot be deleted directly if there are a child roles. That means if I go to the roles, now let's click on here. Now, if you do not want to see this screen, you can say here, do not show this page again. Otherwise, just click on a set of roles. Now, by default, Salesforce is giving these roles. By default, Salesforce is giving these roles. Like a Samskar IT, CEO, CFO, COO, right? VP is there, SVP is there, VP is there. Within the VP, I have a marketing team. Like these many are there, right? So if I wanted to delete this CEO, if I wanted to delete this CEO, what it says is, it says error message. You cannot delete it. You cannot delete. The reason for why you cannot delete is within the CEO, there are multiple members who are reporting to him, So one of the property is parent role cannot be deleted without deleting the child roles. You cannot delete the parent role without deleting the child roles. That means first you need to delete all the child roles here. That means from the bottom, you need to start deleting it. So this is the lowest child one. I'm deleted. So once it is deleted, now if I go back again, one more child is there. Now I can delete it. Once these two childs are deleted, now we have a parent. Parent also I can delete it. Now similarly, if I try to delete the VP North American sales, if I try to delete it, it will give me the error because there is a child roles are there. There are child roles are there. So I cannot go ahead and delete it. So directly I cannot delete it. So what we have to do is, if I wanted to delete it, first I need to delete this channel sales team, and then I need to delete the another child. Now I need to delete another child here. Then only the VP North American, I can delete it. Now I can delete the VP North America sales. So like this, you have to delete it step by step. At a time, you cannot delete the parent. At a time, you cannot delete the parent. You need to come from the bottom, very lowest, whatever the role is there from the bottom, you need to keep on deleting up direction. You need to delete up direction. Now I'm deleting the SVP human resource. Similarly, I have a 3 childs on SVP. Now, if I delete all these only, then only I can delete the SVP. Now we have one more and deleted this. Once I delete, now SVP, I can delete it. Now, once the SVP is deleted, then I can delete the COO, and then I can delete the CFO, and I can delete the CEO. Now, if I try to delete the CEO, it is available. It is available. But look at here, the top one. What are the top? Samskar IT, right? One of the property is the topmost organization name cannot be deleted, right? Only it is modified. Only it is very hard to modify also. We cannot delete. What are the topmost is there, that we cannot delete it. But right now, if I wanted to delete the CEO, we can delete it. We can delete it. But topmost one, we cannot delete it. Now, let's see the use case of the role hierarchy. Now, in the role hierarchy, there are 2 words which are called as a superior and subordinates. Superior and subordinates. In role hierarchy, we call 2 things. One is a superior, subordinates. Subordinates or sibling. Sibling is nothing but a sisters or a brothers at the same level. Basically, at the same level. So in real time, we do not call sisters and brothers. This is just for you to understand. I'm saying it, okay? So we do not call siblings, sisters or the brothers, we do not call it. We call it as a subordinate superior. We call it as a subordinate superior. So role hierarchy allows us to make the subordinates What do you mean by? How to restore all the changes that were doing to the default setup. If you want to change it, there is an option called edit option is available. You can change it. So usually, is that clear, my voice? Offline? Okay. So in the real time, we usually do, if you want to edit it, you can edit. There is an option called as the edit option. But in the real time, what we do is we will simply delete it because there is a lot of default roles are created by the Salesforce. But in the real time, we will have a different type of a roles will be there. So instead of modifying those all, what we will do is we will delete it and we create it. Few developers, what they do is they just edit it. There is an option called edit. Now, if you go here, you have an option called edit. So if you click on an edit button here, you can change it. You can change it. Now, let's take a one scenario. Scenario is, now, first of all, role hierarchy allow us to make the subordinate record to the get visible to the manager by default. Now here subordinates and superior. Let's understand that. Now let's assume that we have a CEO at the top level, right? So CEO is, and there are three members who are reporting to the CEO, which is called as a CFO, and let's say COO and CTO. And CTO, there is another structure which is down level. There is a VP is there. That means VP is reporting to CTO and CTO is reporting to CEO. COO is reporting to CEO. CFO is reporting to CEO. Right? So these three members are reporting to the CEO. VP is reporting to the CTO. Now, in this scenario, who is the subordinates, who is the superior? Now, we have it here, CFO, COO, CTO, right? These three are basically, they are called as a subordinates or a siblings. Subordinates. They are subordinates or a siblings. That means they are sisters and brothers, right? They are at the same level. They are called as a subordinates. Now, whatever the reporting person, whoever is the manager for these people, right? They are called as a superior. They are called as a superior. Now, the structure will be, you have a superior, and below that, whoever is reporting to that person is called subordinates. Subordinates is called subordinates. And similarly, if there is any member who is reporting to the below, here we have a VP. Now VP is a subordinate. And here CTO is a superior. Right? Yes, siblings. Now here, this is called as a subordinates. Now here VP is a subordinates and CTO is a superior. Now in this level, CTO is a subordinate, and for the CTO, there is a reporting manager is there. CEO is a superior. whoever is the reporting manager, the manager is called as a superior. Now, whoever the below persons are there that are reporting to the same manager, they are called as a subordinates. They are called as a subordinates. Now, similarly here, let's take an example. Now, role hierarchy is basically defined by the subordinates and a superior, who is the manager, who is the reporting persons. So Salesforce provides the default role hierarchy for each organization, which you can customize it, you can remove it, whatever you want, you can do it. You can replace whatever you want, you can do it. So here, first one is a CEO, and in the CEO, we have a CFO, COO, and CTO. And within the CTO, we have another person who is reporting to the CTO is called as a VP. Now let's go ahead and create this structure. Let's go ahead and create this structure. So I'll be creating a CEO, I'll be creating a CFO, I'll be creating the COO, I'll be creating the CTO, I'll be creating the VP. Now in the org, I already have a CEO. I already have a CEO. Now within the CEO, I have a 3 members. CFO, COO, CTO. So here I need to click on add role within the CEO. I need to click on the add role within the CEO because there are 3 subordinates who are reporting to the CEO. There are 3 subordinates who are reporting to the CEO. So that's the reason I need to click on add role within the CEO. Now here I'll click on add role. Now let's add it here, CFO. Now here the label, you need to specify the label. You need to specify the label. Label is what is the label, and the role name is automatically taken. Role name is automatically taken based on the label and whom you are reporting to. Whom you are reporting to. So it has to be decided here. Role name as a display on the report. This is basically reporting purpose. When you are reporting is a different, we have not discussed the reporting. Now this part is whenever you wanted to generate a report. Report is nothing but some kind of a matrix, some kind of a matrix which will be generated monthly or a quarterly or a yearly. It is a matrix, kind of a progress that you wanted to generate it. So when you are generating that matrix, what kind of a data that you wanted to show this particular role in that metric. Now I'll say that it is not mandatory, but if you have any specific, you can specify that whatever the name that you wanted to display on the metrics. Now opportunity access, case access, we'll see that later. I'm not talking about those access levels. It's not a right time to discuss that. Now did I cancel it? Okay. Now CEO, I have clicked on a CFO. Now click on a save. Now CFO is created. What are the accesses there? By default, I'm giving the access. Now let's go back to the roles. Now I have a CEO, within that I have a CFO. Now within that COO is also there. So where should I need to click on add role? Do I need to click on within the CEO or within the CFO? Where should I need to click on to add a COO? I need to add a COO here. Within the CEO. So within the CEO, I need to click on add role. So now here, my role is a COO and click on save. I'll just click on a save and new because I need to create another role here, which is a CTO. Right? And next I wanted to create another one, which is called as a VP. Now VP is reporting to CTO, but here it is changing here it is showing that CEO. Now what I can do is I can delete this. I can delete. Otherwise, let me click on this icon. Now I'll be selecting it as a CTO. CTO and click on save. Now let's go back to the roles. Now, so let's go to the setup roles. Now we have a structure called CEO, CFO, COO, CTO. Within the CTO, we have a PP. Now this structure has implemented. Look at the structure here. This is CEO level. Within that, we have a 3 CFO. Then I have a VP. Right? This is the structure which is implemented. Now, this is what we have implemented. Now, what I'll do is I'll assign these roles to the users. We have created this structure in the role, right? So one thing before assigning it, so if you go on to any role, okay, click on the any role. When you go to the role, what it says here, role and subordinates. There are two things are there, which is just a role, and the second one is subordinates. Subordinates are nothing but whoever the reporting person is there. Now here VP is the subordinates, and here the actual role is CTO. So CTO and the subordinate, that means either you can share a record to the only to the this particular role, or you can share a record to the role as well as the subordinates. Role as well as the subordinates. Now let's go to the Salesforce here. Now what I'll do is I'll be assigning the roles to the user. That means we have already created a user. Long back we have created a user. Last week or before that week, we have a different users. So if you go to the users here, we have a different type of users which we have created. Right, so here we have a sales platform user, right? Sales platform user, 3 are there, and system admin and data sales admin. So total we have a 5 users. I'm taking it because we have a 5 roles are there. 5 roles are there. For those 5 roles, I'll be using these 5 users. I'll be using these 5 users. Now let's go to the presentation. Now here. Now these are the users. Now here CEO, I'll be assigning it to the April batch. That means the user which I have it. The user which I have, system admin user which I have, I'll be assigning the CEO role. And then CFO. CFO, I'll be assigning to the Kishore Kumar. Kishore Kumar with the profile called standard platform user. Standard platform user. Where the standard platform user is there, I'll be assigning the CFO to Kishore Kumar. Now the next one is COO. COO I'll be assigning to Himaja, who is a sales platform user. Who is a sales platform user. And next one is a CTO. CTO I'll be assigning to the Messi. CTO I'll be assigning to the Messi. And then finally we have a VP. VP I'll be assigning to the Gautami. I'll be assigning the VP to the Gautami. Now these are the 5 users I'll be assigning the role. I'll be assigning the role. Now where can I see whether this user is assigned the roles or not? Now here we have an option called role. Here we have an option called role. Now it is before the active checkbox. When you go to the users, for all the users, you can see one in the column, which is called as a role is the column. Now, there are different ways of assigning the roles to the user. Different ways of assigning the roles to the user. One way is you can directly go to the user, click on edit, and you can update the role there. Now I can say here, April batch, I can say CEO. This is one way. Another way is you have a CFO, for example. You have CFO. So let's go to the role called CFO. Now here set up roles. Now you can click on here CFO, or else you can say assign. There is an option called assign. Click on this assign button. When you click on a assign button, it will ask you that who is the user that you wanted to assign. Now I'll say here for the CFO, who is the person? Kishore Kumar. So I'll assign to Kishore Kumar. Now click on save. Right, if I go back to the Kishore Kumar, if I refresh here, I can see for the April batch and Kishore Kumar, the roles are visible. The roles are visible. Now here, two roles are showing. Now similarly, you can assign the Messi. So for example, Messi is but before that, CFO is done. Now next one is a COO. COO, let's click on assign. Now I'll be assigning the Himaja. Click on save. And next one we have a CTO. CTO I'll be assigning to the Messi. Click on this and assign it. And next one is VP. VP, let's assign it from here. I'll go to the user. And then here I'll say that Messi is already there. Now VP is Gautami. So let's go to the Gautami, click on edit. Now here I'll say here it is a VP. Now you can see at the user level, these users has a CTO, CFO, CEO, COO, VP. These are the roles you are assigning it. It doesn't matter whether the user is active or not. It doesn't matter whether the user is active or not. What we are doing is we are just assigning the role to the user. You can assign the role to the active users, inactive users, because possible that after some time you might activate it. You might activate the user. And this is how we assign it. Now, as per the Salesforce terminology or as per the rule, now whatever the VP is created, whatever the CTO is created, let's assume, let's take a CTO. Now here CTO, which I'm assigning is CTO is Messi and COO. COO is Himajan. And next CFO is Kishore. And next one is April batch. And the next one is VP. VP is Gautami. Next one is VP. Now here I have a data. Here I have a data. Now let's assume that if CTO, that means if Messi creates a data, Messi creates a record. Let's assume that Messi created a record. When he creates a record, who all can see as per the Salesforce standard?
CEO.
Only
CEO.
CEO can see. That means CTO can see, whoever the person is created, that person can see, as well as whoever is the manager is there, that person can see. The other two members should not be seeing it, right? So let's go ahead and create a record by logging in as a Messi. Now, here one more thing. Every time in real time, what we do is, in real time, I'll not be having all the passwords of users. In real time, I'll not be having passwords of the users, because once I create user, it's up to the client what is the password they are using it. They will not be sharing the password to us. Now, how the admin can access as a different user? Now, I wanted to log in as Messi. Let's assume that I do not have a password. I do not have a password. I'll close this. I do not have a password of Messi. This is an end user. Or client side, some admin team is there. Client side, admin team called, one of the member name is called Messi. Now he is not ready to share his credentials. He is not ready to share his credentials. That means he is not ready to share his password. Now in that case, what we can do is just search here login. Search here login access policy. Search login access policy. Now, when you go to the login access policy, the first one is called as a setting. The first one is called as a settings. Now, if you enable this, administrator can log in as any user. What it says, administrator can log in as any user. That means if I wanted to log in as a different person, I should be able to log in. Now, if you check this, right now admin gets access to log in as a different user. If you disable this, admin will not get access to log in as a different person. Now I have enabled it. Now, once I have enabled, now let's go ahead and search the user. Now click on it, users. Now I can see here login option is available. I can see login option is available. For the deactive users, you will not see the login. For charter free, charter external, you will not see it. For analytics, you will not see. There are only few profiles where you can see, because those are the profile actually has the Salesforce access. Basically, which are the profile that has a Salesforce access? That means I'm not giving any part of it. Like it's charter fee is nothing but just a charter details. I'm sharing it. A posting a message, I'm sharing it. Right? Whatever the message is posted, though that message I'm sharing it. I'm not giving a complete access to the Salesforce. Right? So in this case, Salesforce platform, definitely the Salesforce platform users will log into the Salesforce. Similarly, if there is any sales license or a Salesforce platform license, whatever it is there, and community licenses, those users we can see as an option enabled as a login. Now, what I can do is I can go to here login. I can click on directly here login. Without a password, I can just click on a login. Without a password, I can just click on a login. So I'll click on a login here. As soon as you click on a login, how can you verify that you have logged in as an end user? How can you verify that I have logged in as an end user? It will be displayed on the top. It will be displayed on the top. That means whoever is the person is logged in, whoever is the person that I have logged in, it displays on the top saying that you are logged in as a Messi and this is the email ID. If you want to log out, click on this particular link. Click on this particular link. Now, if you click on a particular link, now it will log out as a user. It will log out as a user. But what is happening? It is logging out as a Messi as well as it is logging out as a admin. Admin also logging out here. Admin also logging out. What? No. So let's click on a login. Remind me later. Now, whenever I log in as this user, right, it is logging out as a Messi as well as admin. As an admin also, I'm logging out. Now, let me show you again. I'll click on a login. Right now, I'm logged in as a admin user, which is a April batch. Now, I'll log in as a Messi. So when I click on a login, it will open up the Salesforce with that person. Right now, if I click on this view profile, it shows as the whoever is the user that I have logged in, that person detail it is displaying here. That is the person details, it is displaying here, right? Now, if I click on a logout, now what is happening? It is logging out as another user. As an admin user also, I am logging out, which I do not want to see, When I click on a logout, it should come back to this user screen. When I click on a logout as another user, it should come back to this screen. That means there is some kind of a setting which is available. Just search here session settings. In the session settings, you have an option called, it's not in the session setting, just a second. Session management, no. Where is it? Force logout. Right, here it is. In the session settings, you have an option called force re-login after login as a user. So the path is session settings. In the session settings, you have an option called force re-login after login as a user. Force re-login after login as a user. That means if the admin is logging as another user, when they click on a logout and immediately log in back as a same user. Immediately log in as a same user. Now, if you want that, disable this. If you do not want, that means you do not want to re-log in again. If you do not want to re-log in again, then uncheck this. Now, if I have, right now I have unchecked, right? I have unchecked. What will happen if I log in as another user? It will come back to the same screen. It will come back to the same screen. Now, let me go to the user. Click on a users. So when you click on a users, now here I log in as a Messi right now. I did not click on it. Okay. So if I log out, what will happen? It will log out as a admin user. It will log out as a admin user. I need to log in back again. Now, I don't want to do these steps unnecessarily. So in that case, what I have done is I have unchecked this option. I have unchecked force re-login after login as a user. Now, once that is unchecked, click on a save button. Click on save button. Okay, it says refresh. Now here we have an option called force re-login after login as a user. Click on a save. So that means if I disable that, I don't want system to force me again login. I don't want system to force login in again. So now what I'll do is I'll connect it as this user. Now once I have connected it, I'll log out. Click on log out as this user. When I click on a logout, it will come back to the same user screen. It will come back to the user screen. System will not force me to re-log in. System will not force me to re-log in because I have disabled that particular option. I have disabled that particular option. Now, if you enable that particular option, system will be forcing me to re-log in again. System will be forcing again to re-log in. Now, if you disable that, it will come back to the user screen. Clear? Any questions on that kind of a setup? So far, whatever we have discussed. Now, next step we are going to do about creating a record. So let's see here. Now let me log in as a Messi. When I log in as a Messi, right now I'll go to the account. In the account, now I'll create a total records that he is seeing is total records he is able to see. Now I'll click on a new account. I'll click on a new account. Now I'll say here role account details. Role account details. Rating is a warm, and I'm giving here type, which is a prospect. Industry is agriculture. Now, if it is a real time, in the real time, we will be entering the entire data, right? We will be entering the phone number here and the ticket symbol, billing address. If you want any billing address here, for example, Hyderabad or Amirpet, right? So you can give the details, what are the posting details are there. Now active, yes. Now click on a save. Now this record is created by Messi. This record is created by Messi. How will I know that whether this record is created by Messi or not? Here the owner is saying that by default it is saying that Lionel Messi, that is the one. And the second main thing is that you will see created by. Whoever is the created by is there. Whoever is the created by is there. That means that is the person is created. That is the person created. Now, whoever is modify the data, they will be that person name we will see in the last modified. In the real time, if you want to check the record who has created it. Now you can see here created by the owner name and when he has created it. What is the time? Everything you can check in the created by. Everything you can check it in created by. In the created by, we can see all the data. We can see all the data here. Now this based on the created by, it says that this person has created the record on the 8th of May 2023, 9:47 a.m. Indian time, right? So this is the time he has created it. Now right now what happened is Messi has created the account. Messi has created the account. Now let's copy the ID here. Now this is the ID. That means this is the 18-digit ID. We call it as a 18-digit ID. 18-digit ID. 18-digit of account ID. This is 18-digit of account ID. Account ID always starts with a 001. Always starts with 001. You take any account. You take any account. That account is always starts with a 001. Now this is also starts with the prefix is a 001. Any account record, it always starts with a 001. Now in our case, we have created a one record. Messi has created a one record. Now what I'll do is I'll log in as a CEO, which is a April batch, which is a April batch. Let's go ahead and log out as this user. Now let me copy this record, whatever the Messi has created. Now, right now, I am logged in as a April batch, right? So now what I'll do is, I'll just copy that. I'll just paste the ID, 18-digit ID. I'll paste it in the URL. Now, CEO is able to see the record that is created by Messi, which is perfect, which is working perfect. That means CTO has created the record and CEO is able to see the record. But how about COO, Himaja and Kishore? Are they able to see the record? Ideally, they should not be able to see the record. As per the Salesforce standard, siblings or a subordinate should not be seeing the records, right? That is the default one. That is the default one. Now let me log in as another user, which is a COO. Now I'll go to the Himaja. Now let me log in as a Himaja. When I log in as a Himaja, same thing, I'll copy the record here. I'll copy the record. What are the 18-digit ID is there? Now let's go to the account. Open the account, and here all customers data, open anything. Now I'm going to paste that 18-digit ID in the URL, 18-digit ID in the URL. Now, Himaja is also able to see the record. Himaja is able to see the record. Now, Kishore, how about Kishore? Now, let's log in as a Kishore. When I log in as a Kishore, same record I'm trying to view, which is created by Messi. I'm trying to view that record. And what I'll do is I'll paste that 18-digit ID on top. I'll paste the 18-digit ID on the top. So once I pasted here, now Kishore is also able to see the record. Now, what is the purpose that these two members also able to see? Now, CEO, I can understand this person should be able to see. Now, that is the admin team also. That is the admin. Basically, CEO will have a admin access, right? No, they will not get any error, but in the login history, it will be tracked as a 2 times in the user login history. Suman, so when they log in, so if you go to the user level, in the user level, you will see login history, right? So in the login history, it will give you the information. It will give you the information. So it will be on the profile level, or you can go to the login history also. We have a login history. When you take a report of login history, it will give you, okay, right now I do not have a sufficient. That means I logged in as a Kishore. Let me log out. Now, let's go to the Kishore Kumar user. In the Kishore Kumar user, I have a login history. So user level will have some login history. Here it will be tracked as, it is logged as a 2 members. It is logged as a 2 members. So they will not get any error. That is the flexibility for the admin team. That is the flexibility for the admin team. In order to solve the issues of the client or a users, we have to log. Sometimes we might have to log in as that user. But before logging as that user, we need to take a permission from them. So we have received this kind of a issue. In order to test the issue, I need to log in as your user. So I just need your permission to log in. I do not need a credential. I just need a permission. Can I log in and cross verify? This is the time I'm planning to log in. So we have to give this kind of a communications to the users. So when we give a communications to the users, now at the same time, they can log in, log out, whatever they can do it, they can do it. If they get a login history, also it is fine because we already communicated that I'm going to log in as another user. So there won't be any problem. But without informing, you should not log in as another user. It has to be communicated to the user before you log in as another person. It is same like when you are taking a picture of another person, right? Without their confirmation. It is called as a claim, especially in Dubai or a US, without anybody's permission. If you are taking a photo of them, then they will give a complaint to the police, right? That is kind of a claim. Similarly, whenever we are logging in as another user, we should take a permission from them saying that I'm going to log in as you. I'm going to log in as you in order to test this kind of a issue. So get that confirmation. If they are agreed, then only we can log in it. If they are not agreeing, then we cannot log in as that user. Clear, Suman? Now here Kishore and Himaja is also able to see the record that is created by Messi. Ideally, they should not be able to see the record, but why they are seeing here? They have a sales platform user. They have a sales platform profile. But they have a sales platform profile. This person has a Tata system admin profile, right? So as per the role hierarchy, Messi, Kishore, Himaja, both are at the same level. When they are at the same level, each other data should not be visible. Each other data should not be visible. But why they are able to see the data of each other? What is the reason for it?
Same level of access.
Same org is same. Definitely org is same. But within the org, I have a different roles, right? I have a different roles are there. Now, the reason for that is we have a something called at the base level. We have a something called at the base level, which is called as a OWD, which is called as a OWD. Something called concept is called OWD. OWD. What is this OWD? Is nothing but organization wide default. Organization wide default. Organization wide default. Organization wide defaults. Now, what is that? Organization wide defaults is nothing but now at the base level, you have a OWD. At the base level, that means it is an org default. Before you apply any access to the system, by default, Salesforce is giving the OWD settings. OWD settings, which is available at the org wide. Which is available at the org wide. So that means OWD has a basic level of record access settings. Basic level of record level access. Basic level of record access. Now, if your basic level is already public, if your basic level is already public, that means public is nothing but available to everybody. Public is nothing but available to everybody. If base level, whatever the Salesforce is providing it, by default, Salesforce says that it is a public. By default, Salesforce says that it is a public. Now, if it is a public, now, whether you create a role hierarchy, whether you create a profile, whether you are creating a permission set profiles are basically at the object level. Now, here we are talking about the role. Now, whatever the hierarchy you are creating it does not reflect because your OWD level, it says public. Public full access, that means this particular org is available for everybody. Everybody can see anything. Everybody can see everything. Now, before going to the role, we need to restrict at the org wide. We need to restrict at the org wide. That means you need to take here private instead of a public. You need to make a OWD level private. OWD level private. That means it is a private. Whoever is recording, whoever is creating the record, it's private to them. It is private to them. Now, if you want, when you have a private, right, on top of it, if you want to expand the visibility, on top of it, you expand the visibility, then we will go for the role hierarchy. Then we will go for the role hierarchy. The role hierarchy concept is if you want to open up the access, then only we will go for the role hierarchy. Now, if you already have a public setup in the OWD, no need to create a role hierarchy. You have to first set OWD level private, then open up the access based on the person. Then you will be open up the access. This is basically role hierarchy is designed to increase the data visibility. That means by default, Salesforce is given the public. But as soon as we get a org, the first thing in the real time we will make a changes at the OWD level private. The first thing we will make a changes private. Based on the requirement, we will make that particular object as a private. Object private. That means one object should be private. Whatever the records are created by the whoever the user, only it should be restricted to that particular user. Now, org by default is basically, now I'll just take this slide, then we will end up. Now, org by default is basically OWD are used to indicate the level of access of the record inside the organization. That means inside the organization, what is the base level of settings? OWD decides which record should be visible to whom inside the organization. That means whether should I need to give a private, whether I should give a public read only, whether I should give a public read write, right? Salesforce provides the OWD option. There are different options are available. Private option, public read only option, public read write option, public read write transfer option, public full access, no access, use, view only, controlled by parent. These are the couple of options which are provided by the OWD options. Now there are few more also available, but the main important one is these all are. OWD is nothing but organization by default. It decides at the base level what kind of a access we should give. If you open up the access for everybody, it's similar like a Gmail. Okay, whenever you are sharing a record, whenever you are sharing a spreadsheet, if you say public, it should be available. That means everybody can view the Google Sheet. Everybody can see the Google Sheet. But if you say it as a private, and share to specific person, that means it will be private. And when you are sharing it, you are sharing to the specific person. Others cannot see the data, whatever you are creating in the Gmail, the spreadsheet, right? So it's the same concept. Any questions so far? Role, especially role level, any questions? OWD will continue tomorrow. This is just an introduction part of it. Okay, conclusion. What did we learn so far?
Muting permission set in group.
How to create a
Roles, properties of roles, how to create roles, create hierarchy,
Role properties.
Profile versus role.
Right,
Role
we have seen
properties.
the muting permissions, roles. When do we use a role? How to create a role? What is the differences between the profile and role? What are the properties of role? And we have seen use case, one of the use case. And then what are the issue that we were seeing in the use case? The reason for it is OWD. Right. Yes, that we will see tomorrow how it will override. Override is nothing but basically role is came into the picture. It is not overriding it. It is basically opening up the access. If you have a restricted access in the OWD, if you want to open the access, how can we open the access using the role hierarchy? We'll see that tomorrow. Now, so far, whatever we have understood, individual parts we have understood, right? Profile, permission, role, license, and then we have seen the role. Now, once we are done with the OWD, we can link each other and then we can talk about it, scenarios. Now, questions, what is a role?
Record-based access controls that defines the role in an hierarchy.
Which decides what user can do.
Right. Offline. So role is a basically determines what user can see it, right? Based on the where the level of access, where they are sitting in the hierarchy. And the homework, create a role hierarchy. And hierarchy is VP, CEO. Within the CEO, you have a CTO. Within the CTO, you have a solution architect. And within the solution architect, you have a technical architect. And within the technical architect, you have a developer. And now it is in the same line of CTO, we have a CFO. CFO, you create a CFO. That means within the CFO, you have a human resource head. And within the human resource, you have a recruiting manager. Within the recruiting manager, you have a recruiter. So that means here the line is VP is at the high level. Within that, you have a CEO level. Within that, you have a CTO level. Within that, you have a CTO level. In the CEO level, you have a two members. One is a CTO and CFO. Within the CFO, within the CTO, again, you have a solution architect. Within that, again, technical architect, developers. And CFO will have a human resource head, recruiting manager, recruiter. Recruiter is reporting to the recruiting manager is reporting to the human resource head, human resource is reporting to the CFO is reporting to the CEO is reporting to the VP. Right? Similarly, developer is reporting to the technical architect is reporting to the solution architect is reporting to the CTO, and then CTO is reporting to the CEO is reporting to the CFO. The VP. CEO is reporting to the VP. Now this is the structure. Create it, whether it's up to you how you create it. You can delete all the existing roles and create newly, or else you can modify the existing one. When you modify the existing one, make sure it has a proper roles and what are the accesses that everything is correct. You can create there is no limit for that actually. You can create a maximum. There is no restriction on the subordinates, superior. And the next one is a trial head. Complete the trial head.